These are the dips you need at a party, the kind no one wants to stop eating. We've got a mix of hot and cold dips, some classics, some with a twist, but all of them are easy to make and seriously good.
Hey friends, welcome back to Dinner and Aside. I'm Laura.
And I'm Angie. Today we have 8 must-make dips that are perfect for any party. You'll find the full recipes on our website, A Food Lover's Kitchen, but we've also linked all of the recipes to the description, so make sure to check that out. First up is a warm, cheesy bean dip that always disappears fast. This dip is sometimes called Texas Trash, though I don't really like that name very much, so I think we're gonna rename it. We're also adding some ground beef, which is gonna make it even better. The ingredients you'll need are 1 can of refried beans, half a pound of ground beef, 2 tablespoons of taco seasoning, 4 ounces of cream cheese, 4 ounces of sour cream, 4 ounces or a small can of green chilies, and 2 cups of shredded cheese. The first step is to brown the ground beef. Be sure to remove the excess grease before you add it to the dip. You also want to make sure it's nice and browned for extra flavor. Once it's browned, add your taco seasoning and some water. Then just let it simmer for a minute. I'm using an 8x8 dish here. This is enough to serve about 10 people. Transfer the ground beef to the dish and spread it out. Now we're going to mix together the refried beans, the softened cream cheese, sour cream, and the green chilies. Then spread the mixture into the baking dish over the ground beef. Then sprinkle on the shredded cheese. Pop this in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 25 to 30 minutes. You'll know it's ready when the cheese is melted and it's bubbling around the edges. Serve it warm with tortilla chips and you're good to go. No one's stopping at just 1 scoop of this, trust me.
Next is a cold and creamy dirty martini dip. We've been seeing dirty martini recipes everywhere lately. Everybody must be really into those deep, briny flavors. Well, I know I am. I have always loved a dirty martini, and now we have the dip to go with it.
What we're going to need is 8 ounces of softened cream cheese. Be sure to give it at least 30 minutes at room temperature so it's easier to mix. 4 ounces of sour cream, 2 tablespoons grated onion, ½ teaspoon of garlic powder, ½ cup of chopped green olives, 2 teaspoons of olive brine, and maybe about 1/4 cup of blue cheese crumbles.
Okay, the olives. Obviously you need a really nice green olive, something that you like to eat that has a really good flavor and texture. I like these Spanish manzanilla olives.
You'll start by mixing the cream cheese, sour cream, grated onions, a splash of olive brine, and garlic powder in a bowl. Just mix until it's smooth and combined. Then you can add the chopped olives, and there's an option to toss in the blue cheese if you want to go bold.
Once you've got it all mixed up, maybe just give it a little taste. Make sure it's what you want. And then we're gonna let this rest in the fridge for about 30 minutes so that it chills and starts to really build flavors. Top it with some more olives and chives. Serve it with crackers or crostini, and that's it.
Dip number 3 is full of bold, herby flavors. This one is all about the sun-dried tomatoes and the Parmesan. 2 really great umami ingredients, exactly what makes a great dip. You're gonna need the usual, cream cheese. Then we're gonna add some Greek yogurt. Add in ½ teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 3/4 teaspoon of oregano, ½ teaspoon of thyme, 1/4 teaspoon of chili flakes, and about 2 tablespoons of fresh minced basil. For the sun-dried tomatoes, get the ones in the jar with the oil. Then all you need to do is give them a rough chop. We're adding about 1/4 cup. We're also going to add a little bit of oil for the extra flavor, just about a teaspoon. Finally, this dip needs some Parmesan. For the highest quality, you really should grate it directly from the block. Don't use that prepackaged stuff. It can give this dip a really weird texture. Add the cheese to the dip and then give it a good stir to get everything fully incorporated. Let this chill in the fridge for at least 30 minutes. It gives the herbs time to blend in and the flavors to meld. It looks pretty fancy with a little basil on top. This is gonna serve about 10 people. This cold dip is great served with crackers or veggies. You won't believe the amazing flavor that those tomatoes give to this dip. And it only gets better the longer it sits in the fridge.
Dip number 4 is one that I just started making, and it is so tasty. If you like hummus, you're gonna love this aromatic, warm, creamy dip. And it has no cream cheese in it. Hallelujah. So we're starting off with black lentils. They're also sometimes called caviar or beluga lentils because of their size and shape. They look a little bit like caviar. When cooked, they're really creamy and they have an earthy and nutty flavor.
We're starting with the lentils. I'm using about 3/4 of a cup today, cooked in 2 cups of water. Let them come to a boil, then cover them and let them cook for about 25 to 30 minutes. Now we can start on the aromatics for the dip. We're gonna do a shallot, just roughly chopped. You can also use an onion if that's what you have on hand instead. And we'll add these 2 large cloves of garlic too. Just push down on them to smash and give them a rough chop. These are gonna add a ton of flavors to the dip, but we aren't gonna put them in raw. Let your pan heat up, then add some oil. Once that's shimmering, add in the onions and garlic. You want them going on a low saute. Not too hot or the garlic will burn. Just enough to get the oil bubbling and soften the veggies. When they're getting golden brown, it's time to add the spices. We've got a teaspoon of cumin seeds, a half a teaspoon of fennel seeds. We're gonna get these just a minute to toast and start to bloom. This is when the kitchen starts to really smell amazing. Once it's all nicely aromatic, you can take them off. When the lentils are done, add them directly into your food processor. Add those roasted onions in there too. Plus about half a cup of water, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, half a teaspoon of salt, and freshly ground black pepper. We're gonna blend this for about 3 minutes until it's looking pretty smooth. Now we're gonna add in about half a cup of tahini. Just like with hummus, the tahini is gonna add a rich, nutty flavor and a thick, creamy consistency. Blend that up for about a minute until it's all nicely incorporated. Pour that onto your serving dish and smooth it out just like you're making hummus. This is gonna make about 8 servings. We'll add some curly parsley for garnish and a few swirls of your best olive oil. It's surprisingly simple to make, and it's a great healthy alternative to the heavier cream cheese dips.
I cannot get enough of this. If you already love lentils, you're really gonna fall in love with this dip. And if you haven't tried lentils much before, definitely give this a try. You're gonna be pleasantly surprised with how creamy and delicious it is.
Next up is the iconic French onion dip, except we're making it from scratch. So there are no packets of onion soup mix involved, but there are still onions, plenty of them. We're gonna caramelize them, but not in rounds like you normally would. We're gonna chop them. You want the onions to be distributed throughout the dip, not long stringy bits that are hard to scoop. In order to get that really delicious flavor, you can't skip the caramelizing. It's gonna take about 20 minutes. There's no shortcut, unfortunately. Your patience is definitely gonna pay off here. That golden sweet flavor is what makes this dip so amazing. Way better than the packet version. Once the onions are soft and jammy, let them cool completely. Now we're just gonna mix all the ingredients into a bowl. You're going to need 1 cup of sour cream and half a cup of mayonnaise. Then also a half a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of dried minced onions, half a teaspoon of ground black pepper, and for that umami hit, half a teaspoon of Worcestershire. Now you can fold in those caramelized onions. Cover it and let it chill for at least 30 minutes, preferably a couple of hours so that all those flavors can meld. This caramelized onion dip does take just a little bit longer to make, but the flavor and texture are incredible. You won't want to go back to the packet kind again.
Dip number 6 is one of my favorites, but I definitely don't make it enough. I think there are too many dips with cream cheese in them, and this one is just a cheese dip. It's loaded up with that smoky brisket, tomatoes, some jalapeno. It's really great. This dip has a smoked brisket in it, which is really great if you're smoking your own brisket at home. This time I was able to smoke my own brisket. The easiest way to do it though is to buy your brisket at the store if you can, or at a restaurant that you love, or use pulled pork, pork belly, or some other type of meat like that.
Mix everything together in a skillet or baking dish.
6 ounces of white American cheese, you can get that at the deli counter. 4 ounces of Monterey Jack, and 4 ounces of sharp cheddar. Then add half of the chopped brisket, that's about 3 ounces. 1 of the diced jalapenos with as many of the seeds removed as you want, and half of the pico de gallo, which is about 1/4 of a cup. Keep it in piles for now, we'll stir it all together later. Pour on 1/3 cup of heavy whipping cream. Then sprinkle the seasonings all over the top. You need 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1/2 teaspoon of paprika, 1/4 teaspoon cumin, 1/2 teaspoon granulated garlic, 1/4 teaspoon each of salt and pepper.
Then it goes into a 400-degree oven for 15 to 20 minutes.
Stir it every 5 minutes as it melts. This helps the cheese blend and keeps things from sticking.
Once everything's melted and bubbly, top it off with the rest of the pico de gallo, brisket, and jalapenos.
Serve it with some tortilla chips. If you get a good brisket, this is going to be irresistible. It makes about 8 servings, unless you eat it all yourself, but maybe don't plan on leftovers.
Dip number 7 is basically the best parts of pizza. Pepperoni, marinara, melty cheese, and we're surrounding it all with pull-apart bread. I'm using Rhodes frozen dinner rolls today. This is what I can get at my grocery store, but they're available through a bunch of different brands. You can find them in the freezer section. You do have to take them out of the freezer a day in advance so that they can thaw and rise, so make sure to check the package directions. Arrange your risen dough balls. I'm using about 17 rolls around the edge of my 12-inch cast iron skillet. This will bake up into golden, fluffy dippers right in the pan. In a bowl, mix up 8 ounces of softened cream cheese with 2 cloves of chopped garlic, a 1/2 teaspoon of dried oregano, and 1 tablespoon of fresh or dried parsley. Spoon the cream cheese mixture into the pan first. Then pour in 12 ounces of marinara. Store-bought is fine. Add about 4 ounces of pepperoni, saving an ounce or 2 for the top, and a solid layer of shredded mozzarella. Finish with the rest of the pepperoni. Mix together 2 tablespoons of melted butter with 1 clove of garlic minced, and brush it onto the dough balls. This will add tons of flavor. Bake it at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 25 minutes. Once the rolls are golden and the center is bubbly, take that out of the oven. Garnish with a little fresh parsley and serve it straight from the pan. It makes about 8 servings. It's part dip, part pizza, part pull-apart bread, and, well, honestly, there aren't any bad parts.
The final dip today is a spinach artichoke hummus. I love spinach artichoke dip. It's my favorite, but it has been done many times before, and I like a healthier version. So this spinach artichoke hummus checks all boxes. Drain and rinse your chickpeas. You can peel them too if you want a smoother dip, but it's not necessary. Put the chickpeas in a food processor. For the artichoke hearts, you need about 1/2 of a cup, and I use the artichoke bottoms that are in a can with brine, not in a marinated olive oil. Put those in the food processor too, along with a cup of spinach, 1/2 cup of tahini, 1 tablespoon lemon juice, and I'm really making a mess here, 1 clove of garlic, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Give it a quick blend, and tahini can be really thick, so smooth it out with a little bit of water if you need to. I like to keep some chunks in there, so try not to overblend it. Spread that dip into your serving bowl. Yum. And smooth it out. Add a drizzle of really good olive oil on there. Serve it with some baguettes or chips if you like. This is really one of my favorites because it's unique and it has lots of texture and flavor.
And that's it. 8 must-make dips for your next party.
Whether you're into bold and cheesy or light and fresh, there's a dip here for every crowd.
Thanks for watching. Before you go, be sure to watch this next video, 25 of our favorite party-ready appetizers.